And I think we're gonna be live in a couple seconds here.
Zero. Bullet. 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 Mute button. Group. Share. Share. Enter. Enter. Edit. Button. Frame. 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 Zero. In frames. Welcome to link. Heading level 2. Link. Link. Learn more. Link. Learn plus button. Group.
Okay. I think we're live. Let's just I haven't gotten the notification over on this end here. I don't know. Yeah, it's probably because my Safari is signed into um my other account. It could probably be that. I don't know.
Discord. Carl. Logging. Number. Introducing managing moderators. These users have the same capabilities as standard moderators, but in addition, they can manage blocked words and change chat modes in live.
Oh. Oh, that's a new thing?
New. New. Managing moderators can support your channel in even more ways. Introducing managing moderator. Close button. Group. Link. Learn more. Link. Learn more. Close button.
Okay, that's interesting.
In frame. Heading level 2. 3. Link. Learn chat. Chat. Edit text.
Okay, I really don't think anyone is gonna show up for this stream because this stream really did come out of nowhere. But I actually for this
Discord. Wrap.
stream, I was actually
Speech muted.
about 3 hours behind schedule. I was planning on doing it for 9 in the morning. Just so I could be considerate of European times, but I didn't get up until like 11:20 this morning. Really, really, really horrible idea. I must admit, the last time I did a stream like this, it's been a year ago. I don't do live streams as often. Heck, to be honest, I don't really post YouTube videos that often either. Let me just see. Let me just double check if I got the notification on the
Under preview. Chrome. Discord. WhatsApp. Safari. Safari. YouTube window. Hit tooltip. Create tooltip. Search. End of search. Search tool. Create icon button. Loading. Group. Enter search text. Previous search settings. Settings. Visit tool. Link. Nested paragraph.
Okay.
Page menu. Video. 95% loaded. Don't forget, your standard moderator for this channel with dialogue with 4 items. Link. Learn more. Link. Learn more. Close button. Send green faces. Send red heart. Auto frame. Name. Pause. 2 minutes. Click. Mute. Next keyboard short. Pause keyboard. Play.
Okay, that's gonna create too much noise. Yeah, I probably could change that to a managing moderator instead. Although I must admit, I don't know.
Frame. In frame. Heading 4. Welcome to live chat. Link chat. Chat. Edit text. Hit icon button.
Although I must admit, I don't.
Application Chrome previous.
Actually, I'll check the chat over here. It's better. But anyway, so I really haven't been streaming. So the last time I did this in particular was last New Year's Eve. And since then, I haven't been live streaming, nor have I really been doing a lot of videos. And one of the reasons for that is what I would really like to explain in this year's recap. Because so how these streams usually go is this year I celebrate, as you know from the title, 9 years on YouTube. I have been on YouTube since December 31st, literally December 31st of 2015. And I was at the very immature age of 13. Back then, back when I started YouTube, I think that was around the time when like YouTube started to go kind of downhill. That's kind of the time when like YouTube was good. But that was also the time when YouTube actually started to go downhill. With like demonetizations and everything else. And so from there, I witnessed a lot of stuff go down the wrong path. I really did. And that honestly was the that honestly, if not anything else, was I mean, I think a lot of it, I was, really immature. I was not even, mature enough to know what these changes were gonna mean. Um, so that was part of it, but the other part of it was the other part of it was there was something that was happening in that YouTube community that I did not like. And what really did it for me was the whole COPPA thing, back 5 years ago. And that was kind of when I was like, okay, yeah, this is enough. Why am I still doing this? And pretty much since then, YouTube has felt more like a job to me more than something that I wanted to do recreationally in addition to in addition to my um in addition to my professional life as a student and as somebody studying in the psychological field and possibly going into mental health, and also somebody who invests a lot of time in languages. Um, you know, I it felt more like something it felt more like something that I wasn't really motivated enough to create a lot of content. And so when I posted my speed slider video like a couple months ago, literally everyone went crazy. It was like, "Oh my gosh, Riley, you're back? Like you're still here?" Like, yeah, I was still here. It's just I just couldn't think of anything to do. And for this channel in particular, um this is my electronic game channel, which I still don't know why I decided to name the channel the way that I did, but this is still my electronic game channel. And for this channel in particular, I especially didn't know what to do because um I actually had started to kind of lose interest in my game collection. I didn't know what else to really put in there. Um, I already have quite a lot of games as is. And I guess shifting my interests over to other things kind of didn't give me enough motivation for the game collection side of things. I didn't fully lose interest obviously, but I lost interest to a point where I actually didn't know what I wanted to put in my collection, and then eventually it just kind of hit me I was originally thinking of replacing one of my hyper games because my Hyperdash Extreme that I have is broken, but then I found this speed slider for a pretty good deal, like probably the most cheapest thing I've ever seen, and I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely getting this.
Chat. Hit icon button. Chat. Chat. Hit icon button. Daily Mode. Hi.
Oh, hey.
Click. Learn more. Welcome to live chat. Heading. Click. Daily Mode. Hi. Hit icon button. Button. Welcome to live chat. Welcome. Click. Learn. Daily Mode. Hi. Hit icon button. Button. Chat. Chat. Edit text.
But yeah, for the majority of this year, I really didn't know what game I wanted to get. Um, until obviously a couple months ago. I think it was I got it in November, I think November 4th was the date of that video. But yeah, in terms of YouTube wise, I don't really have much recapping to do on the YouTube side of things because again, I did not post anything this year except for that video. Um and again, part of the reason for it is I just don't have the motivation for YouTube stuff anymore. I can't get the ideas flowing as well as I used to, when I was younger. And part of that has to do with the fact that I'm now in school. Um, and honestly, my YouTube journey has been more about watching videos rather than creating them because I feel like because I've kind of come to realize that creating content is not as easy. It gets harder and harder every year for me, and that's it gets harder and harder every year for me, and that's like that's that's honestly the that's honestly kind of like the drive down behind it, like why my productivity on YouTube goes down every year to a point where I'm not doing anything at all in a year. Um, but yeah. But in terms of this year's recap, well, we can get started with that. But yes, I have been on YouTube for 9 years now. And in the past 9 years, I've seen a lot of things go down. Like go down. I've seen a lot of things go downhill. I've seen a lot of things escalate. I've been involved in a lot of online drama since then. In fact, YouTube was actually the first platform that I engaged in. It was the first social media platform that I ever engaged in. And I was only on YouTube and like Hangouts and those kind of stuff for like the first 3 or so years. And then I got Snapchat at age 17. And then eventually no, I got Discord like 7 months before that. So I got Discord and then Snapchat and then eventually got Instagram at age 21. um okay, so t- I don't have just like with last year's recap, I'm not going to go through the entire January to December cuz that's going to be boring. I want to talk about mostly the key points of what happened for me in 2024. Like just so you guys have pretty much a gist of what went down. So
Discord, vertical line member.
in about the first half of 2024, I participated in a lot of language live streams. Now the season 2 of the show over on a language channel called Ecolinguist actually started around fall of 2023, but I started participating there and then it continued to about January to March of 2024. And there hasn't been shows since. But I've been participating in a lot of that, and most of it was actually fun, like, for the most part. And in the last stream, which happened on March 26th, I believe, according to the description date, in the last stream that I've done so far, I met I decided to hit up somebody. Like, I decided to, message somebody who is now become one of my very, very, very close friends. So, if you know from my last year's recap, in June of that year, um I met a Portuguese person named Miguel, and him and I were very close friends. About 9 months later, I met somebody else, and him and I have become also close friends. And 9 months in, we're still doing really well. um, and that started over on that day was March 26th of this year. And that also happens to be the day that the last stream was done, and there hasn't really been a season of the Ecolinguist live show since. In fact, I probably should show you some clips. If I can find them, I probably should show you a clip of something that happened.
Chat, edit text, chat. Hit icon button. Dylan Mock, how are you? Hit icon button. Dylan Mock, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you. How's it going? How's it going over there?
Chat. Chat. Edit. Chat. Hit daily icon. Daily mug. Link. Learn more. Welcome to live chat. Link. Daily mug. Hit icon button. Chat.
Let me see if I can maybe find it. I don't know if the clip was done over on the other account. I don't think it was done over another account. I think it was done over on this account.
Out of page. Out of virtual bar. Tap. Go. Page. Edit. Secure site search. H.
I mean, let me just see.
Selection replay. YouTube.
YouTube.
HTTPS. Banner. See skip search. End of search tool. Hit icon button. Tool tip. Account menu. Menu pop tool. Hit icon button. Tool. End. Nav. Home. Short. YouTube music. Tab. View tab.
Let me see.
Heading level 3. Visited link. Name. Heading level 3. Visited link. Heading level 2. Heading level 3. Heading level 3. Link. Mike. Heading level 3. Link. Heading level 3. Link. Instruction. Heading level 3. Link. Heading level 3. Link. Heading level 2. 2 items. Link. Watch later. Heading level 3. Link. Alex Spice. Heading level 2. 2 items. Visited link. Like videos. 350. Heading level 3. Visited. Heading level 3. Heading level 3. Visited. Heading level 3. Link. Heading level 3. Visited link. Heading level 3. Visited link. Heading level 2. 2 items. Visited link. Your clips. 20.
Okay, my clips. Let's see. Is it on this account or it might be on the other account actually?
Main. Heading level 1. Your clips. Heading level 3. Link. Clip. Heading level 3. Link. Clip explosion. 15 seconds. Clip 5 months ago. Heading level 3. Link. Clip. Heading level 3. Link. Clip. Heading level 3. Visited link. Clip covered 5 seconds. Heading level 3. Visited link. Clip simply. Heading level 3. Link. Clip and heading level 3. Link. Clip 2 smaller tab. Heading level 3. Link. Clip.
Yeah, no, that's not. It's not over here. It's on the other account.
Tap. Go. Page. Secure. HTTP. Closing.
If it's on the other account, I can play it through my mobile.
Banner. See skip search. End of search tool. Create. Hit icon tool tip. Account menu. Menu tool. Hit icon button. Loading. Group. Enter search text. Previous search settings. Settings. Visit tool tip. Link. Nested paragraph. Tool tip. Complementary. Page menu. Video. Frame. Heading 4. Daily mug. Welcome to live chat. Remember link chat. Chat. Edit text.
Yeah, it might be on my mobile. Give me one sec. Oh, what the hell?
Characters. Actions. Voices.
Okay, let me fix that.
Zoe. Primary voice. Actions. Characters.
You know, I really don't like.
YouTube music. YouTube. 13 new items.
I really don't like how
YouTube. Cast button.
I mess around with the screen to go like, and it goes often into the voice rotor.
Notifications. Over 9 unseen items. Button. Back. Button. Cast. Search. More. Select. Comment. New notification. Sandlock is live. Action. New notification. Psychosphere clicks. Action. Today. New notification. Neuro News and Portuguese uploaded. Action. New notification. Sandlock upload. Action. New notification. I love line. Action. New notification. TTPM toy. Action. New notification. Dance Finnegan uploaded. Moana 4K. Back. Button. Back. Scammer calls police officer. 12 minutes. 15 up. Tab. 5 of 5. Cast. Button. Notification. Search. Setting. Nested paragraph. Where bullet.
Oh, I see.
View. Google. Share channel. But history. Button. Heading. 48 videos. Messed up Bob. Action menu. 3. View. Create new playlist. But playlist. Button. Action menu. 11 minutes. Action menu. 2. Action menu. 10 minutes. 41 seconds. The heart. Action. 2. Action. 3. View all. History. Button. Heading. 3. Action menu. 48. Action. Move it. Action menu. 2. Action. 6. New. Your video. Downloads. 7 minutes. Your clips. Button.
Your clips.
Cast. Search. More. Your clips. Most read. Clip extra. Action menu. But clip rhythm rage. Action. Clip extra. Action. Clip rhythm rage. Keep and tap English. Clip extra. 8 seconds. Clip rhythm rage. Keep and action menu. Snapchat. Team Snapchat. Team Snapchat sent you a message from my phone. Group.
Wait. Keypad tap is not what I'm looking for. I must admit there's a lot of clips that I have here that oh yeah. Okay, the first clip I want to show you is this clip called Pianozinho. And the context behind this one is I believe is from season I want to say season 3 episode 2, but I think it might be later. But in season 3, in this episode, I was challenged to so me and another guy named Leo, we were asked to, or he was asked to present a word in Italian. And I had to use all of my Portuguese knowledge, which I had back at the time, which, by the way, compared to now, it wasn't much. I can tell you that right now. It really wasn't much. But either way, I had to use all of my Portuguese knowledge to guess what the word was. And the word was piano. And basically, another person that was in the stream literally made the European Portuguese joke of pianozinho, or I pointed out that, like, the diminutive of that was, like, pianinho, and then this person literally pointed out the pianizinho, and everybody just started laughing.
Chat. Chat. Edit text. Chat. Link. Welcome to link chat. Hit icon. Galen Mark. Hit icon. Galen. Hit icon. Welcome to link. Learn chat. Chat. Edit.
So here's the clip.
I actually almost said like the diminutive form that you would hear in like those Portuguese children's songs, which is pianinho.
Yeah.
Ou pior, pianozinho.
Pianozinho, sim, pianozinho.
That's too European for me, guys. But
I actually almost said like the diminutive form that you would hear in like those.
Okay, let's pause. So yeah, that clip was pretty funny. I apparently do have some other clips here. I can't believe I didn't. From the season. So this one is actually a clip of a Portuguese challenge that was presented to me over on the first episode of season 3 of the show. So here's this one.
Quando esse evento acontece, durante esse evento, as pessoas são recomendadas, se estiverem dentro de casa, a irem debaixo de uma mesa para ficarem seguras, se possível. As pessoas têm que ir debaixo de uma mesa, porque esse evento, quando ele acontece, se você ficar debaixo de uma mesa, ele não pode te machucar tanto. Quando esse evento acontece, durante esse evento, as pessoas são recomendadas, se estiverem dentro de casa, a irem.
Okay, so this clip is actually a clip of a Portuguese language challenge. The word that I was supposed to guess for this one is earthquake. So he talks about, and at the time, I actually didn't know anything of what he was saying, but then when I played back, like, the live stream at the end of it, I kind of realized that there was something I missed, and what it was that he was basically describing, like, when, like, for example, when you experience, like, shaking or whatever from the earthquake, you have to go under the table. Or part of what you do is, like, go under the table. That's basically the general context of it. And I didn't get that, and I wish I could have gotten it, because that would have given me a clue. Like, that would have been one of the telltale giveaways that he was talking about an earthquake. Yeah, so that show lasted again until March. And there hasn't been another episode since. Now, in terms of some other stuff that unrelated to the show, in May, I actually went to Hawaii. I actually have some I might actually have some videos and photos of that. Although I think I lost all of them. They're all posted over on my Instagram. If anyone follows my Instagram, it's there. I have some photos and videos of my Hawaiian vacation over there. And actually, Hawaii was fun. It was a great experience to just be on the beaches and swim and do all sorts of stuff. But yeah, for the most part, Hawaii was fun. It wasn't a vacation that I had really wanted to go to, but it was still pretty fun.
Chat. Chat. Edit text. Chat. Link. Learn more. Welcome to link chat. Remember to hit icon button. Galen Mark, how are you? Hit icon. Welcome to link chat. Chat. Edit text.
So that happened over in May. Now in terms of language learning stuff, I actually only started to really crack down on languages in September. I around September of this year, I started to really crunch the languages that I was learning, especially Portuguese, because I really enjoy Portuguese. It's definitely something it's definitely something that's really, really fun. Um, Portuguese has been for the most part, for the past year and a half that I've been studying Portuguese, it's been a very unique journey of mine to really go through that and go through something that I'm very much I've very like it feels like a passion that's like growing and growing and growing every day that I practice it. And actually practicing it now actually has become more and more important more important than ever before because I'm going to Portugal next May. Um and my primary purpose of going to Portugal is because I want to put myself in a real life situation and practice the language there. Um, and that's something that I've never ever done, like in a target language of mine before. Like I've never like going to Europe from here actually costs a lot and it's actually getting worse and worse each year, I feel. But we've already got the tickets to Portugal and I'll be over there next week. Hope to share some photos and videos there, if not on any of my YouTube channels, then on my Instagram. Um, but for the most part, like I'm very excited about it, but before that happens, I have brutal amounts of schoolwork that I need to get done. And speaking of school, one of the most interesting transitions I've made in terms of university was transitioning from in-person to online. So I'm now at an online university. And one of the main reasons for that is because I wanted to be in a university where I could really work based on my own schedule. And I could work almost at my own pace. And I say almost because you don't entirely work at your own pace. You have contract deadlines that you have like when you're finishing, like when you sign up for courses. But the thing is, like that's the only deadline that they give you. Everything else you can finish. You can create sub deadlines for yourself. So that's obviously something that I had to work at, but like I actually kind of don't regret it one bit because um I can actually choose when I want to take off. And also you can also choose like how long you want to study there for. You don't have necessarily like a yearly regimen that you have to tend to. You can like even though a degree like that is 120 credits and it's like 4 years, you can pretty much finish it in 10 if that's how it has to be for you. So it's very schedule oriented. Like it's very you oriented, if that's even the right thing to say. Um but yeah, I guess I kind of wanted that I guess I kind of wanted that for myself. But even though I do study at home, it's actually one disadvantage of an online environment like that is you do end up studying much harder than you would in an in-person setting. So that's why I always say like online university or doing studying online isn't for everyone. It really isn't. Um it really depends on you. So honestly, like my advice for people who want to go into this is are you the type of person that is able to function in an environment like this? If you are, then great. If you're not, then I would really reconsider your decision, because in a way, studying online is much harder than studying in an in-person setting for some people. And even for people who like do prefer to be online because of how their schedules are, it's even harder for them too. So you have to be really realistic with how much you can handle on a daily basis, because if you can't handle that much, then that kind of direction is not for you, because you actually end up handling a load more, slightly more, if you're online than compared to if you're in person. So you need to be really, really aware of that. Are you somebody that is willing to go through that or can go through that? If you are, that's great. But if you're not, then I would reconsider.
Hit icon button. Chat. Edit text. Chat. Link. Learn. Welcome to live chat. Hit icon button. Link. Learn more. Welcome to live chat. Hit icon button. Link. Learn more.
What is
Welcome to live
going on
chat.
here?
Out of frame. Open frame 0. In frame. Daily mode. Hi. Daily. Welcome to link. Learn more. Chat.
Okay.
Chat. Edit.
But yeah, I transitioned. It's a transition that I actually had been thinking about since January, but I didn't actually start my courses until October. So I'm actually at the end of my 3rd month now. I have January, February, and March left. So I'll actually be finished this semester at the end of March, at the end of March, beginning of April. What I plan to do after that, like between then and the next September, I have absolutely no idea. But that is something that I can plan along and think about as I go. I'm not in a hurry to figure that out right now. But yeah, anyway, the following May, I'll be in Portugal. And I'm actually very excited for it. And honestly, if that's my reward for completing my schoolwork, that's great. Like, I'm going to complete my schoolwork, get the best grades I can, spend pretty much my entire entertaining time in Portugal, and then come back all refreshed. Yeah. That's good enough for me. But so in terms of, preparing myself for Portugal, I'm honestly trying to juggle around the idea that I have all this loads of schoolwork that I still need to finish, but then I have loads of this work that I need to finish, but then I have then this amount of work in Portuguese that I want to get started as early as possible so I can give myself enough time to train, and that's again really, really hard. Cuz I would it would be fair if I completed it in March and then somehow like once I was done my schoolwork, then focus on Portuguese. But here's the thing, that doesn't give me enough time. I have to go in May 22nd. So I have 4 months left to train, to really, really train in detail to make sure that I am confident enough to speak once I go there. And then once I go there, it's going to be test after test after test. So it's going to be one of those things where I'm really going to have to figure out how I'm going to manage that. Like, how am I going to manage the time of me training for Portuguese and then also doing my schoolwork that needs to get done by March. And that hasn't been the easiest thing to really think about, to be honest. And then yeah, not much else happened. Not much else happened that year. Although this year I did have a pretty interesting birthday. It was cool. If I can do this, let's see.
Chat. Edit chat. Link. Welcome to live chat. Hit icon button. Daily mode. How are you? Welcome. Link. Learn more. Chat.
Oops.
Chat. Edit text. App Chrome previous. Chrome. Chat. Edit text. Discord. Virtual flag of Germany. Flag of United Kingdom. B2. Flag of Czechia. A1 number language means smiling face with glasses. Hit icon button. Tooltip. Hit icon button. Tooltip. Send red heart. Tooltip. No action available. But tooltip. Hit icon button. Tool. Hit icon chat. Edit text. Hit icon button. But tooltip. Tooltip.
Oh.
Hit icon button. Button. Group. Tooltip. Hit icon button. Start a Q&A. Answer viewer questions. Live. Start a poll. Let your viewers weigh in. Menu. Start a Q&A. Answer viewer questions. Live. Menu item. Group. Start a poll. Let your viewers weigh in. Menu item. Close. Menu item. Group. Start a poll. Start a Q&A. Answer viewer questions. Live. Menu item. Group. Engage with your audience. Start a Q&A. Answer viewer questions. Live. Menu item. Start a poll. Let your viewers weigh in. Menu item. Group. Close. Menu item. End the menu.
Should we do a poll or a Q&A? You know what?
Edit. But frame 0.
By the way, one thing that I really forgot to talk about in the server, in this channel, is earlier this year, I made a server, is what I meant to say. I made a Discord server, mostly as a Hangout server. Well, it started out as a Hangout server, but I'm still pretty much planning to make it a community at some point, if we get enough members. But I actually have a new Discord server that actually is going strong. I'm actually surprised. It's a server basically for language learners. And mostly it started out as a server where our group of friends, we have a Ecolinguist also has a Discord server as well, and I'm in that server. In fact, I've been in that server since 2021, so pretty much from the beginning. But we have a particular group of people that always likes to show up on the voice channels. And so what I did was I gathered up those people who ended up being pretty much most of my friend group over on Discord. And we made a server just for us so we could just hang out. But then more people that I ended up getting to know started to show up. And since then, I've kind of had the idea to kind of open it up to a hopeful community and kind of have a second attempt at building a community of my own. So that server started in January of this year, and it's still going really strong. In fact, next year, I actually don't remember exactly when the server was created. I don't even know if it was even created on New Year's Day. But next year, so next January, literally this coming month, is going to be the 1-year anniversary of that server. It's going to be my server's first birthday, and I can't believe I've ran it, that well. It's been very successful for that year. So yeah, that server is still going strong. We do have some activity there. Not as much as when it was from the beginning, but we do have some activity going on in there. Now, I'm going to wrap up the stream pretty soon because no one else is going to join. But before I do, I want to leave it up to you guys. And I want to leave you guys with 3 questions that I want you to answer here.
Edit. Frame 0.
And let's see.
Frame 0. Frame 0. In frame. Link. Date. Hi. Hit icon. Daylin. How are you? Hit icon. Button. Chat. Edit text. Chat. Edit text.
So let me see if I can write this.
Speech muted.
So the first question is, what was something good that happened to you in 2024?
Speech. Chat. Chat. Edit text. Chat. Hit 1. What was something good that happened to you? Hit icon. Button. Chat. Edit text. Speech muted.
And the second thing is, what was something negative that happened to you in 2024? So something that something that kind of was unfortunate. I don't want to say bad because that would be too strong, but something unfortunate that happened that kind of kind of just nudged your emotions in kind of that negative direction. So it could be, for example, like chronic pain or some other unfortunate situations that might have gone for you in 2024. And then to give it kind of that positive ending, I want to ask, what do you hope for yourself moving forward? So, moving forward, what do you hope for yourself in 2025? So this could be like, do you have a New Year's resolution for yourself? Or do you have other long-term goals for yourself that you want to achieve in 2025 that you can spend the entire year achieving? In fact, when it comes to New Year's resolutions, one of my biggest advice is go like I know a lot of people say, "What's the point of New Year's resolutions? They're going to fail anyway." And I used to think that way, actually. So I don't blame those people. But what I've come to realize with resolutions like this is they're like any other goal. If you set any other goal, even if it's not a New Year's resolution, is bound to fail if you don't set it correctly. Um, so my advice is setting a New Year's resolution for yourself is literally like setting any other goal. Are you planning to create a short-term goal or a long-term blanket resolution? And depending on how you want to go about your resolution, you have to be realistic. So if for instance, you plan to do like a long-term thing, like if you plan to do something short-term, your short-term goal should also be something that you can achieve in that short-term period of time. But honestly, when it comes to resolutions, in my opinion, long-term goals are the best thing because you can create a resolution or a goal that you can then strive to achieve for the entire year. And that long-term goal can really be anything. It could be improving your artistic skills, improving your like learning a new skill, improving your mental health. It could be anything. But long-term goals, you should be able to achieve them for the entire you should give yourself the entire year to achieve those things. So, when I ask the question of what do you hope for yourself in 2025, I ask in the sense of what kind of aspirations do you have for yourself in 2025? Do you have aspirations for 2025 or are you just going to go with the flow? What kind of goals do you plan to set for yourself in 2025? Um and so like for me, after having not created New Year's resolutions for a while, I decided that the goal for me was going to be to make more improvements to my mental health. I've already improved a lot since, many years ago, but I want to improve more. I want to go further. But again, that's not like a short-term thing. That's not something that's going to happen to me, in a couple of months. That's a long-term goal that I'm going to strive for by the end of that year. And we'll see where this goes. And then, so if you have a goal like that, then the question you should ask yourself is, how am I going to achieve that? And for me to answer that question, I basically said, well, I'm going to try to navigate situations more slowly. And the reason why I came up with that is because what I've realized, for the past years was that I often acted without thinking. But the reason why I did that was because I thought through the situations through like really, really fast. I felt like my mind was working like a mile a minute, and I wasn't slowing down. It felt like thoughts that I was having just rapidly flowing through my head, which often ended up leading to negative consequences, like blowing something out of proportion, or um just generally acting without thinking, and doing that gives you consequences. So, what I want to try and work on doing, for the next year is just thinking through whatever situation I might be in more slowly, and um analyzing a bit on what somebody has said, for instance, before acting on a thought, before the action. Unfortunately, thought often does come faster than action. But when you try to be mindful and slow down your thoughts and really aware of what's actually going on in the situation, and then also taking the time to slow down and evaluate a situation, it can create a better outcome for your mental health. So one thing that I want to improve on is just acting more slowly and building my confidence. But this is something that's very unique to me. I know a lot of people probably share that, bit like with me, but your resolution and your goals should be unique to you. What do you want to achieve in this following year? Now that 2024 has come to an end, and you go into the hope that 2025 will be better than 2024, what do you want to achieve in that year? And how are you going to achieve that? And remember, the how part is the really important about your goal. And the how part is where you have to be very realistic. So if you have a goal like that, and then you don't have very good strategies on how you're going to achieve that, it's not going to go very well. You're setting yourself at that point up for failure. You need to really evaluate how you are actually going to achieve it. So what is your goal? What kind of goal do you have, or aspiration do you have for the following year, and how are you going to achieve that goal? And make sure that your how is reasonable and your how is something that's manageable for you. If it's a short-term goal. If you have a long-term goal that you plan to achieve for the entire year, you still have to have a how that's reasonable.
Speech, chat, edit text, chat. 3, moving forward. What do you hope for yourself in machine? 3, 8 icon, but chat. Chat, edit text.
So yeah, I am pretty much going to wrap it up. I'm pretty much going to wrap it up for today, and I wish everyone the rest of the New Year's Eve moving forward, and I will try to have some stuff planned for 2025. Again, I really don't know what kind of content idea I have, but I will try to come up with something for 2025, and I hope to see you guys then.
Out of frame, edit, end stream, end share, end stream, button, group, end stream, group, end stream. Your stream will stop immediately and you will no longer be live. Not yet, button, group, end, button, group, end stream, button, group.